We'll call this meeting of 5th City of Gainesville Audit Committee to order. Madam Clerk. Do we have a motion? Or a second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, we have an agenda.
That's followed by minutes for December 13th, 2022 and March 6th, 2023. This audit committee meetings with the recommendation that the audit committee approve those minutes for December 13th, 2022 and March 6th, 2023.
Very good. And second, so all in favor of adopting these minutes? Aye. Any opposed? That is, these minutes are adopted. Madam Clerk.
Gainesville fiscal year 2022 audit financial statements, independent auditor's report, and auditor's communication to those charged with governance and management, with the recommendation that the city auditor recommends the audit committee review the recommendations and the city commission accept the GRU audit financial statements and independent auditor's report.
Very good. Thank you. And I understand we have folks from Baker Tilly online with us via Zoom.
Hello.
Hello, Ms. Ryers.
Mayor, if I may. Hi. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Committee Member Mock. I do have a brief introduction from Ms. Ryers, failed to tell you that. Baker Tilly is the external financial statement auditor for the city's utility, which is GRU. Bethany Ryers will be presenting the reports. Baker Tilly is one of the top 10 advisory, tax, and assurance firms in the nation. Ms. Ryers now serves as a partner in its energy and utilities team, and she counts among her clients as some of the largest public power systems in the United States. So please welcome Ms. Ryers.
Very good. Thank you. Welcome, Ms. Ryers.
Thank you. Thank you very much for letting me present to you today the results of the audit of Gainesville Regional Utilities. Can you advance the slide, please? Thank you. Perfect. So as part of your audit, there are a few deliverables that we provide. The first is the audit opinion, which is in the front of your financial statements. It goes through our responsibilities as part of your audit, as well as management's responsibilities as part of your audit. The second deliverable is the government auditing standards opinion that's in the back of your audit, referred to as a yellow book opinion. Lastly, we provide you a report that summarizes the results of our audit, specifically our responsibilities as part of the audit, and the required communication to the governing body, to yourselves. Ultimately, we report to you. We're hired by you, and we are required to communicate very specific items to you related to the results of your audit. So it's that report that I'm going to kind of go through in a high level of detail. We'll go through the general results, our general scope of the audit, the required communication, the potential future impact of some new accounting standards. The Governmental Accounting Standards Board has been incredibly busy as of late. As you'll see as you read through your financial statements, there are a few pages about up and coming standards and quite a few disclosures related to a standard that was effective in this year under audit. So if you can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So as part of your audit, we are responsible to plan and perform the audit to obtain reasonable assurance that your financial statements, the ones presented to you as of September 30th, are free from material misstatement. That reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance. It is not absolute, however. As part of that work, we spend quite a bit of time walking through procedures and controls over the key financial areas, key transaction cycles, in order to perform a risk assessment. We review the risks of potential material misstatement, and from there we fine-tune and develop our audit procedures. As part of the audit, we also spend quite a bit of time reviewing significant accounting estimates. We also audit against the procedures or policies of the Gainesville Regional Utilities. For instance, cash and investment policies. We test our cash and investments. We ensure that they are in compliance with the utilities policies, which are approved by yourselves. Can you go on to the next slide, please? So we do focus on those key transaction cycles. As I mentioned, we review general procedures and controls. We also test controls specifically over disbursements and payroll, and we noted no exceptions in that testing. We review significant estimates. So significant estimates are discussed in a bit of detail in that audit insights and results report. And those include mark-to-market of derivative investments, your net pension and OPEB liabilities, unbilled revenues, allowance for doubtful accounts, valuation of coal pile inventory, and then the lease receivable and related deferrals. Which brings us to the implementation of the new accounting standards. In the current year, the utilities implemented GASB 87 related to leases. If any of you have had the pleasure of reading that standard, it is a very lengthy standard and quite complex. It's not something that is an easy implementation by any means. The utilities accounting and finance department did have to spend quite a bit of time reviewing contracts to ensure whether or not they would qualify under the standard and then implementing the standard. So you will notice in your financial statements a new line item for lease receivable for deferred inflows of resources related to leases. And you'll notice quite a few additional disclosures related to the standard. As well as a restatement, because the standard was implemented in 2022, we did have to restate 2021 in order to ensure that they were comparative. So there are quite a few additional disclosures in the current year. Yeah. You can go on to the next slide, please. Thank you. So these are the main key financial cycles, key transaction cycles that we review as part of your audit. As I mentioned, we did test controls over disbursements and payroll. We do spend quite a bit of time confirming cash investments, long-term debt, reviewing regulatory accounting treatment, inventory and fuel, and of course, reviewing those estimates related to pensions and OPEBs and the ones that are included in your revenues and receivables as well. You can go ahead and go to the next slide, please. So overall, our audit was performed in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards, which has an objective to provide reasonable assurance that your financial statements are free from material misstatement. Your financial statements did receive an unmodified opinion, which is a clean opinion and the highest level of assurance that we can provide as your auditors. As I mentioned, we are required to review procedures and controls over those key financial cycles as part of the audit. If we were to note a control deficiency that would rise to the level of a significant deficiency or a material weakness, we are required to communicate that to you. And there were no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in the control environment that we noted. Your accounting and finance department, they create the financial statements that are in front of you. I know that they take quite a bit of time to compile. Our contribution is really those two opinions that I mentioned in the front and in the back. And of course, the assurance that the amounts included in the financial statements are materially correct. You go on to the next slide, please. So included in that audit insights and results report are a few pages of our required communication. And that It's generally fairly boilerplate. It doesn't change much from year to year. Occasionally, we'll add another estimate. And this year, we did add another discussion of another significant estimate related to the lease transactions and the valuation of those. In addition, this year, there's some additional verbiage related to the implementation of GASB 87 for leases. Otherwise, it didn't really change very much from prior year, but it is still important information that we want to make you aware of. So additionally, we are independent as it relates to the utilities. When we went through our testing and financial statements, we didn't note or find any audit adjustments as a result of our procedures. And there were really no other audit findings or concerns as it relates to the utilities. If you want to go on to the next slide, please. Thank you. Included in that report is a link to some additional resources that we have on our website, just as an FYI, in case you feel like checking them out at some point. There is quite a bit of information related to the Infrastructure Act and the Inflation Reduction Act and opportunities that exist for utilities right now, as well as general resources related to new accounting standards and the like. If you want to go on to the next slide. I personally find new accounting standards exciting. So I could talk about them for hours, but I know not everyone shares my passion. So
I'm excited for you, Ms. Ryerson.
Thank you, I appreciate it. So there are quite a few new standards that are coming around the bend. The next one that will be impacting the utilities is related to subscription-based IT arrangements. That one will be effective next year, and I know that the Accounting and Finance Department have already started to prepare for it. It follows very closely with the lease guidance that was implemented in the current year. So luckily, they were able to implement that successfully. So hopefully, they won't have any issues implementing this one as well. And then if you want to go on to the next slide, please. So here is our contact information. As always, we love presenting to you once a year and presenting the audit to you. But, we want to hear from you year round. If you ever have any concerns or questions related to the audit or anything that you think we need to be aware of as we start to go through our audit procedures, we'd love to hear from you. As I mentioned, ultimately, we report to you. So it is very important that we have that line of communication open. And with that, that's all I have for you. I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Very good. Thank you very much. Ms. Anderson, do you have anything else you want to add? Or?
I just would like to thank Ms. Ryers and her team for completing the audit. I don't have anything else to say. Just turn it over to the next step. I know that we do have GRU management here as well.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Thank you. So yes, I'd like to first absolutely thank Ms. Ryers, Mr. LaHaye, for your work on your end, Ms. Anderson for your coordination work on this as well, and your team. There's a whole lot that goes on beneath the surface, I recognize, to bring this boatload of information forward to us. And I want to commend our utilities finance and staff for being able to receive this unqualified audit. So thank you very much for your work. It's been a challenging year for everybody across the organization, and I appreciate you all being a part of this good work going forward. I don't have any lights up here. Do you all have anything to add? Or okay. All right. Anyone from the public wish to comment on this?
Mr. Mayor, we have Mr. Donald Shepard.
Okay. Mr. Shepard.
Hey,
Welcome,
Mayor.
Mr. Shepard.
My name is Donald Shepard, People's Representative. I'm kind of puzzled because I was told that from Josh Pizzazzi that he was going to be here today, so I'm not seeing him. So I'm wondering if he's going to be here this afternoon, or how is he involved in this, and where are we at as far as what he had said prior to what is happening now. So that's where I'm lost in words, and then contact, what's he doing? Do I take another trip to Jacksonville, to Tallahassee to talk to him?
Who were you looking for?
Let's see if I can find his card. It's Josh Piazza.
Oh, Jason Pizzo, Senator
Yes.
Pizzo, yeah.
He's a senator.
Right, right. This is not, this has,
Nothing to do
this
with
is
it.
not the state audit. This is a
That-
separate thing, yeah.
I assumed it was, sir.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked to speak, because I'm very interested in what he had came up with compared to what we have gathered. And I will take and sit down.
Well, and just for everyone's information, we do remain in consistent contact with Senator Pizzo, Representative Caruso, the members of the Joint Legislative Auditing Committee, to make sure that we're doing, that we're performing to their expectations. So
Right.
that continues to be a separate issue to this.
Yeah,
one.
I had left my phone number and information with his office, and I haven't heard anything from him. Our emails have been blocked, and some of our phone calls have been blocked from my residents, and I'm wondering why that's happening. We haven't been able to get a hold of his office, and so I guess I'm gonna rent a car and go back up there.
Well, certainly that's a serious concern if they're blocking your access.
Yeah, somebody is. And so Cox Cable said that they were going to look into it, and they called us back, but they haven't gotten back to me yet either. So my concern is where's their thoughts compared to our thoughts here in Gainesville, and how are we going to move forward?
Right, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shepard. All right, no further public comment? Okay, great, thank you. So do we have a motion to accept this?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Yes, if I may, Brecca Anderson, and I'm City Auditor. I would like to clarify what our role is as internal audit. As the City Auditor's Office, we are responsible for administering the contract we have an RFP that goes out. We work with finance in that, and then we have a selection committee, and then that's where we select the external auditors through the selection committee. And at that time, then we have, extension of contracts. So we have the contracts for each year, or however, whatever the span is for completing the external audit. However, the work that goes into the financial statements is entirely on management. That would be GRU management, who's here, Ms. Rasnick and her team. Our role after the external financial statements are done is just to kind of take a look, pose any questions that may come up, and ensure that it's presented to you. So not as much work for us. The work is on management. Okay. Thank you. I just wanted to clarify. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And that's a whole year of work prior to presenting the financial statements of good work to present in the first place. So it's a dual role on the part of the GRU finance team. Okay, so is there a motion to, Commissioner?
Motion.
Okay.
I'm just gonna make the motion.
Okay.
I move that we accept the GRU audited financial statements and independent auditors' reports.
And transfer them to the city commission?
Yes.
Okay, all right, good. Is there a second? All right. We have a motion and a second to accept the staff recommendation, pass this to the full city commission. No further lights. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. That passes unanimously. Madam Clerk.
Next item is
Member comment?
Any thing we need to share? Okay. Yes, sir, Mr. Monk.
I just wanted to add that the Government Accounting Standards Board did not make this any easier this year. They issued a ton of new standards that had to be incorporated, so I want to congratulate everybody on just getting through it.
Yeah. Very good.
Absolutely.
All right. And I would say we will refrain from actually singing a chorus of happy birthday, but there's at least one birthday in the house, as I understand it. So, all right. So
Why not? Why not?
I do hope we can have more audit meetings just like this one for the next several years. This is my favorite audit meeting ever. All right, if there's no further member comment, we will adjourn this committee until our next meeting on June 21st. All right, thank you.